We are on the verge of a market meltdown. I posted a video yesterday discussing how the most insane bull run is developing behind the scenes, including altcoins, of course. In the comments section, many people expressed their displeasure with the video, saying things like, blah, 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 nothing new, and this, that, whatever. However, I want everyone to know exactly what's going on here. As a matter of fact, I will demonstrate to you why we must exercise extreme caution and why this market is poised to soar in the latter part of this year. So let's get started. In fact, let's begin with a few things. First, let's discuss today's market response. Since old coins are losing value, everyone is upset about Bitcoin's 1.15% 24-hour decline. Due to the high level of dominance, many old coins are actually suffering greatly today, but some old coins are demonstrating a great deal of strength. XRP, for instance, is still up 1.42% today. Before it experienced a significant sell-off, it did reach a peak of roughly $2.32. This is because, of course, there was a pleasant little sell-off in the market today as well. This is the current state of Bitcoin. The chart is rather dull. For Bitcoin, however, it's actually rather dull, which is why many older coins are enjoying a pleasant little surge today before, of course, the sell-off. However, I'll go into more detail later this week about what to anticipate. Even though there are a lot of big announcements coming up, the Fed is also telling us to be extremely optimistic. However, this is how the top 100 performers over the past 24 hours look when we examine today's top winners and losers. I mean, it's not that crazy that 4.33% is the best. The past 7 days have also been mediocre. This isn't anything crazy. There aren't many altcoins yet. Correct? All they're doing is building on the lows. XLM is an excellent illustration of this. I've got XLM open over here, for instance. On the lows, XLM is simply consolidating. Additionally, HBAR is consolidating on the lows. It's not too crazy there. SUI. In actuality, SUI is in a rather favorable position here. There is a higher low for it. All we're waiting for is the removal of higher highs. I have this on the 2-week chart, but once more, these things look stunning on the macro. With a good response thus far away from the lows, they are simply ranging on major support levels. H4 is a prime illustration of this. Another excellent illustration of this is XLM. XRP. I must say that the company's chart is stunning. Until a pleasant impulse appears, this is merely consolidating. Here, we already have a pleasant low. Our low is higher. In order to create a higher high, we now wish to remove these highs. Once more, I do believe that we will likely have a pleasant little run up to around $2.46. Before we lose our minds, it's nice to retest the lows. I'm completely okay with us going crazy on XRP and avoiding this low. That could happen. All we need to do is keep an eye out for a close above $2.46. However, XRP does appear lovely here. Even though we're currently trading at lower lows than some of these chart lows, the XRP Bitcoin pair is still in 2025 and has even dropped back to its December 2024 low. The reaction to this trend is what I'm primarily examining here with regard to the XRP Bitcoin pair. We're on the weekly here, so the primary thing we're looking at is a breakback over this level at around 2152 Saturdays. On this chart, we wish to pass this level. In this manner, we are able to initiate a breakout against Bitcoin. If I'm being honest with you guys, that won't occur. Until we notice that Bitcoin is becoming a little weaker and that old coins are starting to compete with it. It is at that point that we begin to see the onset of all-season relief. That is essentially the cycle's largest move. Therefore, before we get that big break, we might brew a little bit longer here. However, the USD pair is beginning to make a pleasant little move, and we are already consolidating on the Bitcoin pair. The move today wasn't particularly noteworthy. We hit around $2.33. The higher timeframes, in my opinion, are more crucial to actually watch than the lower timeframes because we haven't yet cleared some of the weekly's major levels. Because a lot of people will post 15-minute charts and claim that XRP is breaking out, even though zooming out shows that we're still a long way from doing so. Once more, please exercise a little more patience. However, Because Bitcoin dropped by 1.2% today and old coins kind of followed in a big way, everyone was a little panicked. Once more, the dominance of Bitcoin is to blame. This is the reason I've always said that we should closely monitor Bitcoin dominance for any major weakness because, at 60% right now, any move on Bitcoin does get blown out of proportion on older coins. As a result, even though Bitcoin only fell 1.2%, some older coins are down 3, 6, 8, and 10%. So, once more, exercise a little caution. Wait until we begin to see, strong weakness moves on this chart before rushing into old coins. Additionally, those moves resemble the May move or even the November move back here. We genuinely hope to see this. What we want to see are very large, bearish red candles that tell us that Bitcoin is starting to lose ground. Old coins will be the subject of the show. Although we haven't arrived yet, I believe we are on the verge of doing so. Let's actually discuss a few topics now. Let's discuss the reasons behind the recent record high in stocks. By the way, the week is off to a great start so far. For stocks, this is also how the daily appears. The stock market is still rising. At 6,200 we are. I said that 6,960 would be the next level for stocks, at least on the S&P. Yes, I do think we get there. In actuality, we're a little bit lower now than we were before. Roughly 12% separates us from this level. This is the next target, in my opinion. Yes, cryptocurrency will follow, but it usually lags behind stocks. Bitcoin is not currently trading at a record high. The majority of altcoins aren't even trading near their previous peak, and we continue to concentrate on stocks as the major mover at the moment. Crypto adheres to it. We will be trading at all-time highs, but it will only take a little while. What is causing stocks to reach new all-time highs? First of all, this V-wave structure is what we're leaving behind, correct? The stock market is currently experiencing a very bullish V-wave recovery. The price discovery phase is now underway. We most likely keep pumping for the remainder of this year. This is because of liquidity. The FOMC meeting is scheduled for 29 days and 15 hours from now. According to popular belief, there is currently a 20.2% chance of a rate cut. Whether we receive a rate cut in July is uncertain. All right, July is a dubious month for a rate cut decision. Is the Fed still able to argue that tariffs in the trade war and the potential for inflation still make it unwise to lower interest rates? There is still that argument available for the Fed to use. By September, that argument is no longer relevant. In fact, the likelihood of a rate cut decision in September is 93.2%. This would also go in the same direction as the Fed did in 2024.